It is Thursday, April 13th, 2023. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, and I call this meeting to order. It is 5 p.m. Mr. Lawrence, have any letters of communications for the board?
Not at this time.
Okay. Approval of board minutes, February 9th, 2023, and March 9th, 2023. Mr. King?
Yep, I've read and looked them over and they look to be in order and I would move for their approval.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the board minutes of February 9th, 2023 and March 9th of 2023. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So approved. Reports, committee reports, Finance Committee. Mr. Koff?
The Finance Committee met and reviewed the financial statements for February, and they were relatively routine. And there may be some high points that Patty would mention about those, but for me, the most important thing that we looked at in our Finance Committee meeting was a projection of cash status for the next 6 months. And I would like to turn it over to Patty to review those issues.
Thank you. If we look at our statement of financial position, just a couple of things I'll touch on. Our regular accounts receivable, 90% of our regular AR is either current or 1 to 30 days. So we're still collecting our receivables in a timely fashion. The fuel inventory that you note under current assets and our accrued expenses, as far as accrued salaries, vacation, and interest, will all be adjusted for year end. We only do those accruals once a year. Our construction in progress will be reviewed at year end. Any project that is complete will be moved to the corresponding fixed asset account. And the portion of the harbor deepening port expansion project that is just harbor deepening will be expensed for year end. And as with our accrued expenses, the current portion of long-term debt will be adjusted at year end. A portion of long-term debt will be moved over to fund the 23-24 current portion. Were there any other questions on the statement of financial position? We'll move on to the budget to actual. On our income, the only income that will remain under budget at year end is likely to be industrial park income. While the Director of Economic Development's work has been extremely positive in analyzing the rents charged and paid, the 22-23 budget did not make a sufficient allowance for companies not renewing leases. Our expenses, bridge expense is way below budget. Our employee benefit section, I checked that out. The total New York State retirement invoice, we had budgeted for $120,000 more than it came in. There were a couple of retirements during the year, and we used the gross premium on retiree insurance. We did not estimate the percentage that they would pay, and we know that in case something happens. Bridge maintenance, the Tiger repairs reduced the need for some of the bridge maintenance expense, and we have only received 60% of the budgeted invoicing for the bridge inspections. So that's what's keeping bridge maintenance expense down. Our airport maintenance expense, yes. New deal de-icing, we hadn't anticipated spending the $33,000 in de-icing material that we had to spend this year due to the weather. Auto maintenance is about $12,000 over budget. Most of that is fuel, and our equipment is over budget. by a few $1,000s. So those are the highlights of what that is. Our fuel sales expense, we realize, is offset by the fuel income and the general expenses for the airport. Parking expense was budgeted at $135,000 for the year. Through February, it was $196,000. The majority of that is due to lack of parking revenue, and then we have to supplement MAPCO's operating expenses. The maintenance and service agreements is now being broken out so that a portion of Coulter Computers is included, which also led to an overage. And professional services, McFarland Johnson's work on the pavement study was expense, not put to construction in progress. Then the marine terminal salary expense, we had retirements there that brought that well under budget. Any questions?
I guess I do have a question. I'm sorry. I was just wondering if I should just ask now, maybe. The pavement project. I mean, I know that that's sort of hanging out there. We've discussed it. I don't know. I don't think it's on the agenda tonight or if it would come up, but so are you saying, Patty, that what's been paid out is the recommendations? I know we talked about.
It was the study portion?
It's all design and engineering work
Okay.
on the pavement study for the airport.
Oh, for the airport. I'm so sorry. Okay.
But no,
I apologize. I'm thinking.
there is no, that'll be coming up in the next
Okay.
1 or 2 board meetings. We'll be talking about that. So,
Perfect. I just wanted, I kind of lost
but they're
track
both
of where we
titled pavement.
were. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
And finally, for the cash flow, a couple of observations. The cash flow does indeed follow closely to what the budget anticipated for the first 6 months. I will update the cash flow monthly so that the next one you see would be May to October. And we will add any funds and other income that the OBPA may have put aside, say the money for the Chrissy grant. We'll show that under other income, that it will then offset in that month the expense that we would be paying for that equipment. But we will continue to move this forward and see how the rest of the year progresses as we go.
Any other questions? Is anyone,
This is helpful.
are any
I like that.
board members joining us online?
No.
Okay. Some thoughts on the cash projection. You see the projection calls for, by September, a deficit of about $1.5 million in operating capital. And these projections are pretty tough projections in the sense that only things that are committed, for instance, ships coming in, are listed here. Other projections at different times and under different circumstances would have included hope for revenue, and sometimes that was wishful thinking. And there is some activity in the pipeline that's not committed and not included in these figures, but while probably something will come in, those things are not committed. And any discussion of those possibilities that might make them more real or concrete to us need to be in executive session because they involve negotiations that are underway rather than complete. I think it's possible that bridge traffic might turn out to be stronger than was projected, since there are some changes coming up in regulations. Is that correct?
I believe in May, there might be a total removal of vaccination requirements.
Yep.
But yeah, I won't go into too much detail because it's kind of a moving target there, but that's kind of what we hope happens.
Yeah.
And that's what I hear.
And not to repeat too much, these shortfalls come from drops in revenue in both the bridge and the airport that largely really depend on the pandemic. And while we are seeing some recovery in revenue, it hasn't returned to the pre-pandemic levels. And being on this border has made the pandemic much more severe for this authority than it has for a lot of other operators of transportation services, because we didn't just have a decrease in passengers as far as having private people cross the border, it stopped. And we have been able to function at a reduced level with staff for the past couple of years, courtesy of federal support. Well, the federal support is over, and so now the shortfall is hitting us. And the current plan for operations continues operations and positions and so forth as we had planned in the budget that was established in December. And that includes replacing the airport manager, which is now a vacant position. And I know the staff is working to drive revenue up. I know the chairman is considering what options there might be for looking for some political responses. But I think it really important that the board be aware of this and keep it in mind. And there will come points where Patty's monthly updates may call for action. And I think at this point, that's a good place for me to leave it.
We had, Patty and I have had recent discussions, and she's made me aware of some things that we've bolstered our position with a number of things that needed to be funded in this past year that had been overlooked, so to speak, that, we're gradually bringing some things back. We could have left those alone and carried a cash balance toward the budget that, wouldn't really give us a real look at things. But like we were talking about some of the things there, and maybe you can speak a little.
Well, the Chrissy grant money has been put aside for
And
that.
Patty's half funded the
Hopefully half funded the retirement invoice.
and all of our tenant deposits, they were underfunded at one point, and those are completely funded and, will not be touched.
Yep.
But these are things that add up to quite a bit of money that past history might have just shown up as more cash and would have softened that, but deep down we still would have had issues. So I just want to make you aware of some of those things that are on a more positive level anyway.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything more to add, Patty?
No.
Okay.
Well, I think that covers the financial report, and unless there were further questions, that's our report. Sam.
Thank you. No questions, but I think, you brought that up, the fact that we know from month to month where our cash flow is, and I think that's very helpful. Things change here all the time, and it's hard to anticipate what could happen. And I think it's useful for the staff to know exactly where we are, and that the board is always looking at it. And, I know they're working as hard as they can to improve that financial standing. And again, the more information we have as a board, and the truthful information we pass on to Albany, is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes what looks like bad news gives you the capacity to do stuff,
Yes.
to act. Whereas if you never really look at that situation, it can slap you
Yes.
when the time comes. Certainly.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions of Chris?
I just wanted to echo Pam's gratitude. It's, the report is really helpful, the month by month cash flow, and, just thanks again for your hard work on the finance
great.
committee. Yeah, it's very helpful to look at. Thank you.
Good. Okay, bridge traffic report?
Sorry. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Dave, did you want to talk about facilities or how?
oh, yeah.
Okay,
Nope, Sam said I'm good because we're talking about it.
that's right. That's right. Okay, I'll talk about
I
the
have
bridge
nothing
then.
to say.
Yeah.
Make note of that. The board is open to Canadian American vaccinated travelers. March crossings, we're down overall 19%. Wait, no, that wasn't right. That would be 27% over the kind of our normal year. And I did go back and look, and I was kind of hoping maybe Easter had something to do with that, but no, those are just, I'm comparing oranges to oranges there.
Mhm.
And I was just, but you can see it kind of backtrack. We went from roughly 20 or 19% on last month to we've got more crossings than last month, but in relation to the normal month, we're back up to 30 on the auto crossings. Truck traffic's kind of staying, I would say truck traffic is almost normal now. And I would imagine that should kind of more normalize to where we really need to look at those discretionary travel or by auto there. But revenue too is closing, getting the difference is getting less and less. So we're still hopeful. I just think that with weather and everything, that might be just a one-off thing, but it feels like there's more traffic there, but the numbers don't lie here with that. I really thought we'd be at like 20% there, but unfortunately we haven't gone that way. Are there any questions on bridge traffic? Our bridge maintenance program is underway, and our big emphasis is on the Canadian approach. The Tiger Grant project and all of our work over the years, we're in great shape on the American approach and the suspension span, but our real focus now is on bridge deck repairs. On that, we have a number from the inspections there that that's where our main focus is going to be, and hopefully we can get a handle on those. It's doable, but the one thing the big project did, it reduced our any kind of flags or anything that we had up there more than in half, and really caught us up to where we can manage things now. But we're hoping for, we're still waiting on our bill. We put in a grant for our application for 82 million, and hopefully we hear about that soon, but no one's heard anything there. But that would really send us on our way to getting the bridge brought up to speed. Any questions on that?
Okay. Move on to airport activity report, please.
The March numbers are on the sheet. There were 47 flights up from February 23. Our in-plane passengers were 446 with a flight load of 32%. Unfortunately, as we look at the bottom of the page, our 2023 total through January, February, and March is 974. So we haven't even hit 1,000 passengers toward our 10,000 for year end. I wanted to give you an update on the airport manager recruitment process. Stephen Baldwin placed the announcement on their webpage, posted the advertisement on 5 different airport-focused job sites, including ACI, AAAE, and NIAMA. They had direct distribution to industry professionals of over 3,000. Additionally, they forwarded the solicitation brochure personally
project and also just Albany in general. And we're doing our best to try to accommodate that. Any questions on that?
Go ahead. You know, like bid will be out.
The first part, to move this, yeah, we're only at 30% with some of these times. Part of that was, we were waiting, you know, we're waiting on that. And now they've got other, Parliament has other firms that they can now move forward with. It's in a tight timeline, but basically we're trying to get the move the tank and get the ordinary stuff, especially with utilities, and also getting the existing terminal in usable shape during construction will be part of that. And then with that, there might be some bidding for materials that we may need to get them ordered in the future, because it could be a wait time on materials. So,
How are they gonna play with the sewer line coming into Newell?
that's all part, that would be part of that. I think the sewer shouldn't be too much of a problem issue we'll have with discussing accessing the water from the city. That really hasn't been approached yet. No. But we have in the past, and basically there was a lot of that was just waiting on us to get financing to do all of that. And that was, we've got the engineering. And then, yeah, we've had bigger talks over the last
That year we paid.
well, yeah, we'd be just like, I don't know exactly how that works, especially with the pressure line from Wilson, whether we are we pay the city or we pay Wilson, and then they pay the city. I'm not sure how that all set up. But, our part is to put in a pump station timing, and then we run a water line directly to the school and timing on the acceptance.
No,
Well,
yeah,
that
I'm sure.
sewer is right now.
So anyway, I think it's complex project with all that, is the new terminal, everything going on, sewer line, the water line, everything else. There's a lot to it, you have it all come together.
And then, so, we can get to before winter. Hopefully, pull it up, allow
Well,
I just want to go back, if I could cover just a few items ago. I would like to say, first of all, that I'm very pleased that the chamber included the report. I think that's a great, I appreciate that invitation. I think it's a really important partnership that DD represented and promoted through the chamber. And I just wanted to clarify on the process for the airport director position. Stephen Baldwin is, they're really doing all of the vetting, right? So the 8 applications, 3 are qualified. Would you just repeat again? Are we going to be vetting all of the applicants?
Yes.
Okay.
You get to see them before the interviews are scheduled.
Okay. So there could be a possibility that there's an application that maybe Stephen Baldwin, didn't have exact precise qualifications, but something that we might be able to work with depending on what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, thank you. Patty. I'll be ready.
Yeah,
Is there
I'll be so ready.
anything else regarding the airport activity? Thank you, James. Let's move on to board activity report.
In front of you, the highway salt, the 9,313 pounds stuff out. And surprisingly, for the month of April, we've had a couple new orders, people looking to top off their barns. A good place to see. The power, there's been 3,739 dollars last report.
You anticipate any more of that going out? How else they go for, I mean, and by the blue line?
But that is definitely slowed down, the meal inventory. And that, you know, for myself enough to understand, we zeroed out inventory in the building and had 8 to 10 rail cars delivered, and a few trucks showed up before we could actually unload product to the stores. So we were able to, again, identify this last month, use the conveyor to direct load 3 or 4 different trucks. So, we thank again for having the capability. Some parts actually like they finished the build, made that a little more efficient and effective. That's not on the 30, 24 common stuff out.
Who are getting their zero content?
So, teleactivity, there were people some stuff out. And it was monthly, but things have been quite steady.
Yeah, only you couldn't get, what, the local store.
Water ag. This is a agricultural. And currently, what you guys doing, we're taking care of some of the leftover salt from the junk from the winter, processing those to the free-flowing product. Relocated and properly covered. Money.
Well, tell us, okay.
Yes. Yes. Some of them are so fun.
Take your money here. Then I don't know.
This is what it is. It could be blended here,
Any questions for James? Oh.
No, that is pretty good. Would you have enough? We're working on it, though. We gotta keep talking about it. We're gonna keep working.
Who's on economic development report?
Through March, the tenancy rate remained at the 94% that the Economic Development Director noted for the previous month. I have checked, there are 3 May renewals and 3 June renewals upcoming that will be forwarded to the board possibly in May and June for the records to the vote.
There's one hangar vacant at the airport.
Yes.
No. Mark, any update business? Okay. Business item. Agenda item A1.
Approval of the agreement with ESPR Group CPA. ESPR Group CPA has submitted a proposal to provide financial statement, audit, and related services to the Ogdensburg Region Port Authority and the Ogdensburg International Airport Passenger Facility Charges Account for the fiscal year ending 31 March 2023. The proposed annual cost of these audits are $22,000 for the OBPA and $1,600 for the airport PSC audit. In summary, the following services will be performed: audit the basic financial statements of the authority for year ending 31 March, prepare a report including auditor opinion as to whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, and issue an auditor's report that includes their opinion on whether the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects, in conformity with GAAP, and report on the fairness of the required supplementary information in relation to the financial statements as a whole. Regular report on internal control over financial reporting and compliance with provisions of laws, regulations, contracts, and award agreements. Prepare a management letter to management and the board, conduct an exit interview, and present the draft audit report to members of the authority's management team prior to presentation to the board. Attend a meeting of the board of directors to present the above mentioned audit report. Provide advice and counsel with regard to applicable accounting pronouncements. Audit the basic financial information to the airport passenger facility charges account as of 31 March. Staff recommends approval of the above outlined proposal due to ESPR's historical relationship with the authority and their extensive knowledge of and experience with governmental and nonprofit engagement, especially public authorities.
Thank you. Is there a motion? I'll make that motion. Motion's been made and second.
Okay.
Jen, call the roll, please.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Ms. Peckman?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes. Good. Agenda item B1.
Approval of annual maintenance agreement for the HVAC system is critical for leak space, not your performance standards set forth in the GSA. Sufficient expertise is not available within the OBPA performing services. All HVAC top units and controls are manufactured by Crane. In addition, Crane is recommended based on contract pricing, OPS contract, CE 6872. Annual maintenance of the units is best serviced by Crane. Crane is presented a quote for that maintenance of $9,847. Use of Crane for motor stations, HVAC maintenance, a historical relationship, and continuation of what's been done. Staff review the details of the purchase and recommend purchasing this service.
Thank you. Motion? Made, seconded. Lynn, second. Any discussion? Jen, call the roll, please.
Ms. Peckman?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Mr. King?
agenda, item E1.
Approval of HVAC ductwork for use at your location. HVAC system is critical to the space and all sectors, performance standards set forth in the CSA. Part of the standards set forth requires the creating of the HVAC ductwork at term. Of the four companies that were contacted to bid on this project, Wello Air Technologies was the only company to offer a quote. Wello Air Technologies submitted its quote for premium ductwork with a cost of $7,200. Staff recommends contracting with Wello to do the ductwork.
This is a local MWD company. Now, Town.
Yeah. Water.
Yes. Yeah, right. Which is good. Very good. Resolution before you, the motion? Okay. It's made and seconded. Any discussion?
How come only one? Sorry. How come only one? Any idea? One company is the operator, two companies. One company, another second company was not interested. Third company didn't get back to me after over a couple weeks. Trying to even get them to come look at the project. And both companies.
I have a question. What is the acronym that you said, WB?
Minority. Home school for the Senate fund.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else? Jen?
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yeah.
Mr. King? Ms. Hickman?
Yes.
Good. Or, okay, anything you'd like to report on first?
Just in this resolution, we discussed finance, or not, excuse me, facility committee, about this project and, want to move this forward for.
Good. Okay. Other Steve, whoever.
This is, agenda E1, report documentation approval work order number 22-01 with SVD Engineering Services. SVD Engineering Services is provided the authority with a work order 22-01 agreement to perform the engineering design service relating to the proposed port terminal docking station alternative Old Housing County Port of Orange. SVD Engineering will develop a bid package including design drawings and project specifications related to the optional port terminal docking station design. The scope of services to the contract will be complete upon finalization of the drawings and specifications for the optional design. The work order number 23-01 costs associated with providing the service are unit cost time charges with a total amount not to exceed $85,500. The project funding provided to the New York State Department of Transportation supplemental grant agreement number 1 approved in July 20 for $20 million. The work order agreement has been reviewed and approved by New York State DOT. The facilities committee met March 27, 2023 with engineering services and video conference. That's the additional work order agreement. Facilities committee recommended approval of this agreement. Staff recommends approval of this agreement with SVD engineering services. Any questions?
No, just a comment as well. It was nice to see a collaboration on those engineering folks. With you guys, and trying to come up with one.
Appreciate that. We'll keep you up to date on how that comes out. The original design is pretty well done, so the timeline should be dependent on the new system. And hopefully we can move forward. As you notice in there, that on the very bottom, all work orders are governed by the original contract. So we did that. We end up being on it. Anyway, we're getting there. Anything else?
The meeting gave, like we said, we see that, option that I didn't know before the meeting, was that we? That's good. Okay, the resolution before you, is there a motion?
So,
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion? Then call the roll, please.
Mr. Burns?
Yeah.
Mr. Key? Ms. Pippin?
Yes.
Mr. Coffin?
yeah.
You? Nothing for the railroad.
Yeah, the engineer on court. We were going to be tackling that and get that rolling. The thing we really got to talk with is our engineering firm has been out of the loop on this probably a year and a half. They will come back with the concept solution, get it to this, to just put off, between COVID and lack of funding. So we're just going to try to what we need.
Additional amount of load on the line. Caused by. Good. Any other matter?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. With the help of the OBPA council, they really did a very good job of helping prepare a memorandum that the OBPA submitted to the governor's office and to our local assembly. And it's there before you, and it relates to the proposed legislation imposing property tax on real property. I just wanted to let you know this is what was sent to the governor's office and the assembly background. With Jennifer's help, she really did a really good job of kind of putting together kind of what we want to see up there. And by no means I'm not an English major, but it's very well done. We appreciate your help on this, Jennifer. Has everybody had a chance to review that? Is there any discussion would like to take place?
I just wanted to comment as well. It is very well written. Great job done. And just something I guess I wasn't aware of. I don't know if you could expand on it, and I don't want to be incorrect in saying this, but I think in the first paragraph it talks a little bit about properties. Basically I'll use my own words. If properties are just sort of sitting, no purpose, not generating any revenue. Those are primarily, like, are those the targeted properties, or would this still lump everything in?
I think what I don't want to do, I don't want to be the one defining, this is the city's deal with how they see.
Oh, okay.
So, no.
No, I just needed the clarification, yeah.
No, but what I'm getting at is we're just dealing with how we see ourselves. We take care of our property, we do the best we can, we put property back in the tax roll. And the one line that I like in it, that it says, well, the Ivywood Bridge Import claims no knowledge of any other state-owned property. They can say with certainty that his property cannot be described in the way that you're describing. I'm not going to make any kind of judgment
Mhm.
on what the state does. That's between the city and how they look at, what they're trying to do. But really, we're just trying to talk about what we do and how, we benefit here and we take care of our property. So, you're valid in what you appear to, but we weren't gonna make judgments on other
Yeah.
people's property.
Right. So that being said, I think that this is a great, it's a great avenue to take. We're just speaking on behalf of the OBPA, sort of, this is exactly where we stand. I think that's great. Okay. No?
Yeah, and if I could just add, with respect to this, that the relationship that Steve and Sam have developed with Scott Gray has been incredibly valuable to the authority generally, but in particular with respect to this, because he was willing to hear the argument and then, to make some modifications to the proposed legislation so that it would not impact authority property, because it shouldn't, because you have productive properties and also the economic benefit to the North Country and to the city of Ogdensburg in particular from having the authority and the authority's properties and business lines, for lack of a better term, is a far greater return to the community than any property tax they might pick up.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. That's really what I was getting at, is that, really making the statement that this is a productive property, and that's good to hear that Scott was willing to, hear the rationale and take that into consideration in making his amendment. Great, amendments to the legislation. That's great, thank you.
I think it's important for us to speak out regarding this. As has already been said, our property we take care of. And in the past, others have said, well, everything we own is off the tax roll. Well, that's not true anymore. We've already shown the last couple of years that surplus lands that the authority does own is more than willing to sell it outright and put it on the tax roll. We understand that we own obligations to the city and the surrounding community, and we face up to our obligations to do that. Not only to provide jobs and improve all of our land, and I think we've certainly done that for a long time, but realizing that if we can help out any municipality, whether it be City of Ogdensburg, Lisbon, or Otsagachi, that we're more than willing to always consider what effect any land we have, what effect that has on the taxpayers of that municipality. It's unfortunate. It was like a blanket proposal in the city. I would have wished they had something with us regarding it before they sent it on to Albany. Maybe a little better line of communication authority that would make things go a lot smoother for all. No? No? Anything else? Do you have anything else, Mr. Lawrence?
That's it for now.
The next meeting date is scheduled for May 11th at 4. So that's the 5.
I will be available for a long weekend. Could be. Yeah, I won't be here.
Okay. We'll have Karen hold the board and see what the quorum contains that. And I believe there's a meeting coming up on the 27th with the St. Karen and one town.
Yeah, that'll be our trip. Yeah, we'll be leaving in the morning and we have a trip to the, I can't give the name of their location.
Right beginning?
Right beginning. So I think she put that out to all board members if you're available. Are you interested?
I'm interested, but I'm not available.
Okay.
I did let Karen know.
But we've got one board member and then we've got staff.
Good. Anything else from anyone? Again, Karen can, see when we'll meet again. Anything else from anyone at all? No one online, eh? No one online. Ken, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jen.
My
Is
pleasure.
there
Thank
a
you.
motion to, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion to made, second.
I'm second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None. We stand adjourned at 5:58 p.m.